Action.
Hey, welcome back, Mobility Project. We've just taken a necessary hiatus. My brain was cooking off. Actually, we've been working on version 3.0 of the website. Thanks for bearing with us. We're back and rolling, and we have big things planned. We're going to post coming up in the next few days. We'll keep an eye out for a post about things you'd want to see in mobility site, mobility prescriptions, how we would tag these things, how you can organize by body part. We've collected some good ideas, tracking, a daily programming piece. We know these things are coming. We'll ask you soon. Welcome back. This is what I want to talk tonight about. Is something that I've been working on with my Olympic lifters. One of the things is when we talk about load ordering and load sequencing, we see oftentimes that athletes make these kind of load order mistakes. For example, the one I want to talk tonight about is the fact that when I load, I want to prioritize my spinal position first and get into positions where I can unload my spine, i.e. up top. Very few load kind of parameters here. Louis Simmons, Jesse Burke will talk about starting where you finish. This is my finish position, but also is a position where my spine is unloaded. Down here, there are a lot of passive drags and passive demands on my spine. My hamstrings are starting to pull me into flexion. My hips are starting to get tight. My adductors are coming on. There's a lot of demands on the spine here, and me pulling tight, I can get my back flat, but how I'm accomplishing that is by using my psoas and anterior musculature to drag me forward. This is one of the reasons we see athletes kind of with these chronically tight bits. And what ends up happening is they look good, pulling tight. And here's the issue at this loading stage is that if I go to extend the hip violently, I've been pulling myself into extension, and now I'm going to have a local extension moment. And even though looks like I'm safe back, I'm a little bit slightly overextended, my psoas is locked off, and I cannot achieve a totally open hip here. Why? Because my psoas is already pre-ordered to keep the back into a more neutral, more kind of extended position. So I always end up short, I can't expose the hip, and right here, this violent hip drive, I see big time overextension. What we want to do is take complex motor patterns and break them down into simple patterns, simple sequential ordering pieces so that when you're tired, when you run up out of breath, you can do the same thing over and over again. Or if it's competition, or you want to enter the tunnel the same way. Look, if you're an Olympic lifter and you use 17 different setups, you're going to have 17 different outcomes. What we want to do is use the same setup every time under the same parameters where I can get the same spinal loading, the same hip loading. And from the top down, it looks like this. A nice way is to get the spine prioritized first. I squeeze my butt. As I push my butt back, butt turns off. Now I've loaded my hips and hamstrings. Maintaining compressed belly, I'll load as far as I can, belly's still tight, back is still flat. When I start to run out of room, I'll adjust for position with my knees, grab the bar, start to re-tension into the system. If I'm flexible, I can push my knees back and then reload down. If I'm not flexible, I'll just pull back into tension. What's happened here is this gives me a chance to prioritize spinal position, then see the hip load next, adjust for position and tension with the quads. But what we tend to see is the pull. I get loaded up, I'm down here, and I'm going to now use the bar to get tight, but what I've done is created a very unnatural position where the psoas is pulling me tight. This is why we see tight erectors, tight hip flexors, the whole system is on load. Then if I need to move fast, I'm having a problem. We like the top-down load sequencing. I think this is a really good way to pull deadlifting and pulling things from the ground. Look, as a basic range of motion standard, you need to be able to maintain neutral spine. Here's our two-hand rule. I should be able to easily fold over, belly tight, hamstrings flat, and grab the bar. If you don't have that range of motion, that's what we need to work on. If you can load in this position easily, this is a fine position. You can literally kind of dance around up top. And most of our powerlifters who are pulling sumo are able to get into these positions because of the kind of unloaded knee. Now here's the deal. Recently in Power Magazine, Mark Bell's mag, Glenn Penley wrote a great article about why he doesn't have his lifters pull max heavy deadlift. And the reason is that the lifters tend to pull, or that the deadlift tends to have a slight moment of flexion, or I can't keep the back in pure extension the way I need to. And so the Olympic lifters tend to set up a little bit differently. They usually set up from the bottom. We're going to do a piece on Tuesday with Diane, so keep your eyes peeled for that, talking about a bottom-up approach. But tonight, for the loading sequence, I really want you guys to be aware that what I don't want you to see is loss of position. and then trying to pull that flat. This will be the first area that gets hot, and will be the first area to break under load because it was the last loaded sequence. So what I want to do is stabilize, boom, load the hip, adjust for position with the knee, and then grabbing the bar, start to tension, retension. What's nice about putting tension in the bar here is it also gives me a chance to get the bar underneath my scapula into the right position and then pull myself down into tension so I'm ready to go. We wanted this to be being able to be reproducible under load, demand, etc., etc. What I don't want to see is loaded so as then when I jump or pull heavy, I'm overextended and causes decrease in force production and back pain. We'll see you guys tomorrow.